Beautiful Saturday morning where we want to thank God so much for the gift of life that He's given us today. I want to invite and welcome everybody that is watching or listening to me on this podcast. Is a new season. Today we are having this program on this Saturday for the convenience of our speaker. And this is going to be continuing because, God gives us seasons and we have to utilize seasons for the best of what He has purpose for us. And today, I'm so glad that we are having a very powerful and very noble discussion and just to introduce our guest is a psychology, or rather a counselor, a therapist, a doctor, and I do believe that even as she comes in to help us discuss about the topic that we are going to introduce, I want to believe that we are going to have an awesome time. So wherever you're watching or listening to me, I want to ask you kindly if you could share this broadcast with your friends, this podcast, and help us to reach as many Gen Zs as you can. I believe that this is going to be a blessing to them. So as we begin, we're going to be talking about the Gen Zs, and this is possibly a new phenomenon that has arisen in our country here in Kenya. If you're watching us from other countries, I know that you have your own take where the Gen Zs are concerned. Statistics are saying that this is a possibly one of the most vibrant generation that we have right now currently in the society. And I do believe that, as I said, God makes seasons for a time, and so that we can utilize that. And today we are going to be discussing about the things that happen and why the Gen Zs. And our main speaker today is going to delve into this and help us to be able to understand how to do this. So, meanwhile, I want to help us get started. But before that, let's share this briefly, even as we continue. So, wherever you are, you can share this as I play some music here and believe that God is going to help us to connect together.
You are the God of mercy and love forevermore. You are the God who loves me. You never forsake me. You are the Lord. You are the God of mercy and love forevermore.
Kindly share this with your
You are the
friends wherever you
God
are.
who loves me. You never forsake me. You are the Lord.
How will I share it?
You
It's on
call me
your
by
WhatsApp.
my name.
Okay, I've seen it.
Redeem me by your blood. Never forsaken. I'm loved of God. You call me by my name. Redeem me by your blood. I'm never forsaken. I'm loved of.
All right, beautiful. So here we go. So we want to discuss this big topic, and I want to bring to us Dr. Kathy Chris so that she can delve into this powerful discussion today. Welcome to this podcast, and I believe that this is going to be an eye opener and is going to bless us all together. So, Dr. Kathy, introduce yourself to our fans and those who are listening to us, and take it away. Let's discuss about this.
All right. Thank you very much, Pastor Ben. I am so excited to be here. Thank you. It's an honor, it's a privilege. And I am Dr. Kathy Chris. I am a pastor, actually, and I am also a mother and a grandmother. I'm a counselor and therapist. I do a lot of marriage and relationship coaching and helping people navigate the intricate in the difficulties that they encounter in their relationships and marriage. And I
Yes.
also have a ministry, Horest International Ministries, whereby we have a church and other things. And mostly we have an organization called Matters of the Heart Solution, which is the family-based ministry whereby we do all these marriage enrichment programs, preparation for marriage for the singles, helping young people understand what is relationship, what is their purpose, giving
Mm,
counsel to young people, because we discovered going on, if we are going to reduce the issues that are affecting marriages and relationships, we need to talk to the youths, to the teens, to
mm.
help them understand their purpose before they get involved in anything to do with the relationships. They must understand their purpose so that that will guide them towards any choices they make in their future about relationships. So that is, in a nutshell, what I can say about myself.
Beautiful. So, Doctor, how do you see the generation that we are talking about, the Gen Zs? Maybe you could elaborate to some of us because they just have the term Gen Zs, and some of them they don't know exactly what the term Gen Zs means, and what generation are we talking about in this sense?
I think, from my understanding, it's those who are between the ages of 12 to 27, right? I think I'm right or not. So that's
Mm-hmm,
the generation they call themselves Gen Zs. And these are actually the very, very vibrant people at the moment in our generation,
mm-hmm,
and they happen to be very much informed because of the social media. They happen to be very inquisitive. They happen to be very intelligent, actually, and they
mm-hmm,
also happen to be very bold. All these are good things, but
mm-hmm.
as we know that everything without boundaries, anything that is extreme, is always not good, and it can become a dangerous thing. As we saw what happened, actually, when
Yeah,
they began the protests, they were very peaceful and they were very, very organized and they were very focused on what they wanted to do. But of course, things happened. Some people say it's people, goons who have been hired. Others say it's the Gen Zs. I'm not going to go into that because that's not what we are doing here.
yeah.
But the bottom line is the Gen Zs, what is actually behind these actions, behind
Mhm.
this aggression? I think that is what we need to address today. Am I right?
Absolutely. Beautiful.
Yes.
That's true. That's true. Because you see, as we said, as we began this, we need to understand the season that we are living in. And as you said, rightfully said, that they are dynamic, they are empowered. And maybe we could talk about that empowerment. What contributes to that? All of a sudden you realize that when we were growing in our early years, when we got to that age from 12 probably to about even up to about 20, we were not
Mm,
actually discovering ourselves in the society. You are in that formative age whereby mostly you are in the age of instruction. You're being told, go to
yeah.
school, do this, do that. But unlike what we are seeing right now, a 12-year-old looks like even a very mature, grown-up, empowered, kid. So what do you think that has brought this paradigm shift in the society and in matters Gen Z?
Okay. I like to be balanced. Okay. So let me say
Absolutely.
this, that this generation is a generation that has been brought up differently. Why?
Mhm,
Is because they have not been silenced. When we were growing up, we were silenced. This was
mhm,
the slogan, kids are to be seen and not to be heard. And that's what
mhm.
we followed. We didn't ask any questions. And when
Yeah.
we tried to ask, you know what used to happen? You'd be silenced. But this generation, our children, even from 3 years, 4 years, they will ask you questions and they will want answers. And the good thing is that, in one way, a good thing is that they have been able to be bold enough to
Yeah.
ask
Yeah.
and they have been answered. But on the other flip side is the parents who are bringing up, who have brought up these children, who are bringing up these children, have also kind of relaxed in the discipline, because there has to
Mhm.
be order. Like, I don't see why you, who is a breadwinner, who is the parent, should be asking everything to hear the opinion of your children. I don't
Uh-huh.
think that is right. I don't think that is right,
Uh-huh.
because what happens is these children begin to have the entitlement attitude, the entitlement thing that, oh, you didn't ask me.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a child telling a parent that we are moving, but you didn't tell us, you didn't ask us what we thought? So there has been a shift whereby the children now, it's like they are the ones now who are ruling the families. They are
Oh
the ones
my.
who have. They're the ones, when we want to have dinner, we have to ask them, what do you guys want to eat? I never
Oh,
had that when I was growing up, for heaven's
oh
sake.
no.
Empowerment is good, but it also has to have boundaries. We can't say that we have to give them a free way to do whatever they want, because actually that is what happens. That is what we are seeing, is what happens when there
Mm-hmm.
is no control, when there are no boundaries that have been put, there's no parameters that have been put. And so these children
Yeah.
have been empowered
Mm-hmm.
by the parents, yes, by the social media. Now
Yeah.
you just need to click and find out, but without boundaries, without proper parameters. And
Mm.
so that's why we find that some children, you can't even tell them anything. They will argue with you as an adult. And even in school, teachers are having a very hard time, especially in private schools. They're having a
I'm
very
telling
hard
you.
time, because these kids, you can't tell them anything. They will answer you back. And as a teacher, you're not allowed to give corporal punishment. You're not even allowed to do a certain kind of disciplinary actions. So
Mm-hmm.
these kids have been let loose, and the results of being let loose is wildness, rebelliousness,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
stubbornness, that has become something that is getting out of control right in the homes.
Now, Dr. Rikathi, let's talk about this. Now, when we are asking these kids, what do you want to have for dinner? And, it's like we want to involve them in the discussions and in the decisions that we are making. But how far is too far in that right and giving them that right of decision? Because I think that could be a good empowerment, but on the other side, the flip side of it possibly gives them entitlement, as you said, and gives them, that narrative that my parents cannot do anything without consulting me. And on the same case, are we seeing also this now duplicating itself into the social life, whereby when it comes to matters, the nation leadership, even in our churches, I understand that there are churches right now whereby even the Gen Zs are asking the authority of their spiritual leaders and stuff like that. Now, this is a disaster, I believe, that is in the making. But how far is too far, giving them the right to be heard and to make decisions?
I think it's a very good thing, because I think it's a very good thing to have our children heard.
Hmm.
They know that they are heard, they are seen, and they are understood. I
Hmm.
agree with that. But
Mm.
I believe also, as parents, we should make them aware that I am the parent, you are the
Absolutely.
child. We are not buddies. There are rules to
Absolutely.
be followed. I respect you as a human being, and you have rights, but you should know that I have the final say. I have the autonomy to make decisions which are going to affect the family. And so when children know their boundaries, that this far you can come, this far you cannot come, they will know what to do and what not to do.
Hmm.
Even in their arguing, you find that there are some kids, yes, they will argue, but because they know the boundaries, they will not go too far. But
Mm.
some of them will not have any boundaries. And if they can even continue arguing and become disrespectful, there's nothing wrong in wanting to be heard, but there's everything wrong when you cross that line of being disrespectful, to
Hmm.
leadership. Because the
Hmm.
truth of the matter is, respect is very important. But I want to backtrack and say that some of these kids have never seen respect. And respect is reciprocal. When you treat your children disrespectful, you insult them, you don't listen to them, you are not there for them, but yet you want them to follow your rules, then it
Mhm.
becomes very difficult. It becomes very difficult because there we have an issue of absent parenthood.
Uh-huh.
And this is what also has brought about this rebelliousness, because these parents were not there. And I understand, because
Mhm.
people have to go out and look for means. They are struggling to bring up their families, they are doing this
Yeah.
all for their
Yeah.
families. But on the other side, the very people they are trying to hustle for and to work hard for, they are losing them because they've not found a balance to balance family time and hustling time or job time or career time or business time. So in this case, these children have absent parents, and these absent parents now come and tells
Mm.
them, you have to listen to me because I'm a parent. That
Yeah.
becomes difficult, because when the kid is growing up, they need your guidance, they need your counsel, they need to feel secure, they need to feel the connection. So if that is not there, then that becomes a problem when you want them to obey you, when you want them to listen to you, and you are not there to listen to them, or you are not there to even hear them out.
Absolutely. That's beautiful and that's powerful, Dr. Kathy. Now, on the other side, I want us to see to talk about this. I remember when we were growing up, as I'm a village boy, and I do believe that the foundations that we had during that time is what has made us to be who we are today. And I think a major percentage of the grown-ups today, they would attest to this, that when we were growing up, we got to be given tasks and responsibilities at very early age. I remember sometimes even before we got into class one, we knew how to to go fetch water. We knew how to go hard kettle. We knew how to go to the shamba and do responsibilities. I remember even those early years, young girls, they used to even to know how to wash their clothes, their dishes, and stuff like that in those formative years. Now, when we come to the generation that we have now, you realize that even because of the liberally, society that we are living in, and of course, as you said, absent parents, we have the nannies, we have the what they call the house managers, and you realize that even a kid who is about a teenager, 13 years, they don't know how to cook, they
Mm-mm.
don't know how to wash dishes. They don't
Make
know
their
how
own bed,
to
even they
make
don't know
their
how to
own
make their own
bed
bed.
and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And the only thing they do know is how to switch the TV, get to social medias, and how to, flip through the phone and get whatever they want to do. Now, let's talk about this. Do you think that could have contributed one to our stable foundation those then years, and now the destabilization of the stable destabled generation that we have right now, whereby they feel empowered that they cannot do some of these things. Do you think that might have contributed to the so-called rebellious, lazy attitude and stuff like that?
Okay, I'll begin by saying this. When we were
Hmm.
growing up, most of our parents were Christians. They were church going, and they instilled in us some godly principles. And
Mm,
one of the principles I'll never forget is honor your father and mother in the Lord. And that principle has a promise that your days may go well and you may live long.
mm, mm.
So honoring was not a debate. We had to honor, meaning we listened to them even when they were not right. We listened to them. We gave them that respect. Now, when we come to these children, some of the parents are not even church going or even Christians. They
Yeah.
don't even go to church.
Hmm.
So the godly principles, the morals that we were brought up with are lacking in some of them, not all of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, we, the parents of today, are not empowering their children.
Hmm.
They say, this is what many of them say, I don't want my kids to suffer the way I suffered.
Uh-oh.
I don't want them to go through what I went through. Where yet, what we went through is what has made us strong in character,
Absolutely.
strong and able to face the challenges of life. Look at the kids right now.
Mm,
A small thing, somebody commits suicide. A small thing, they go killing their fellow because they are angry. They don't have control. They don't
mm,
have the stamina to handle issues because they have not been brought up to take responsibility. We have thought that by leaving them
mm,
to get house help for them is helping them, where else it's not helping them, because
mhm, mm,
tomorrow these kids don't have life skills. They have not been trained to survive. And you don't know where your children will land. Maybe in the world tomorrow they will not
mm,
have the capacity to
mm,
get house help. So what will
mm,
happen? That leaves them frustrated. That leaves them feeling helpless, and that makes them feel angry and aggressive because they see that they were not equipped to handle some things in life. And so the
wow.
aggression comes out in that way, and the anger comes out in that way because they have not been equipped. And so we as parents need to be very careful the
Mm,
things we are doing in terms of wanting our children to live a good life. Is it really a good life? Are we really even preparing ourselves, our children, to handle life, to have life skills so that they can
mm,
survive anywhere they find themselves? These are the
mm,
tough questions we need as parents to ask ourselves. And that responsibility builds inside of them a sense of worth, that I can do this.
yeah,
I
yeah.
am able to do this. So I'm
Mm,
capable. They find themselves that they are valuable because they have achieved something by doing
mm,
those things that we used to do. You
mm,
understand? They're able to
mm,
stand on their own. So we need to ask ourselves, are we doing harm to our kids? Well, I'm past that age, but the parents need to ask themselves, are they
mm,
doing justice to
mm,
their kids?
mm.
Are they giving them life skills that can help them to stand even if they are not there in their lives?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's beautiful, Dr. Kathy. Those who are joining together with us today, we are discussing about the Gen Zs, the new phenomenon, I should say. And I want to get reactions of some of you who are on live today or right now. Kanispan Kamzungu, you're saying, there's something that you're saying. There is a reaction of one of our viewers, and this is what they are saying. A good example, I punished my boy he was when he was 4 years, and in the morning he called and asked me, Daddy, bona ulinichapa. After explaining, he told me you could have told me instead and I would listen. So you can imagine, and it's true, since then to today, when you say no, he listens. And then he continues to say, but he would, but the world of today, this brother says, but the world of today, I have related with many Gen Zs, and for sure, they say that their parents don't have time for them. Dr. Kathy, listen to this. The parents don't have time for them. Anatoka usiku, anarudi usiku. So if I am absent to them, then who will instill the morals to the kids? Mtoto alianza kuachwa
Aleavyo
na
ndivyo
house
akuavyo.
help manager
Mhm.
akiwa 1.5 years. Aliachwa akiwa, so the kid was left with the house manager when he was, or when she was 1.5 years. This is a reaction of one of our viewers right now. What would you say, Dr. Kathy?
You see, this. Thank you so much, viewer, for your comment and contribution. We really appreciate that.
Mm,
What he is saying is what I have had countless of times when I have had the privilege to counsel these young people. The greatest complaint is absent parenthood.
mm,
They say that the parent is never there.
mhm,
When they want to talk to them, they are never there. They are too busy. And when they're in the house, they are busy with their social, whatever, their phones, their laptop, or they're doing
yeah,
work.
yeah,
Or when they actually give them attention, ni kuwapigia kelele, ni kuwa criticize, ni kuwa condemn, ni kuwa judge. So the child will ask, how do this parent expect me to connect with him when they are not
Yeah.
even there for us, like I said? So
Mm.
actually, we need, as parents, I put myself there, we need to rethink our priorities. We
Absolutely.
claim to be working hard for our children, but what about these kids? We are the same kids we are saying we are working hard for. What will it profit us if in the end we lose them, and we are losing them? There are countless of them who have gone into drugs, who have gone into
Mm.
prostitutions because they
Mm.
want to fill the gap that is inside of them, which a parent was supposed to fill. Mark you, human beings have four needs. They have need for value, they have need for connection, they have need for acceptance, and they have need for to feel loved. So
Yeah.
if these four needs are not fulfilled, that
Mm.
is what we see coming out. So
Mm.
this child was brought up by a maid from
Mm.
1.5 years. So when did they get connected with the parent? The parent goes out in the morning, comes back in the night, and comes back at night. There will be no
Yeah.
connection. That
Mm.
child will never think they are valuable. Why? Because the parent is not there to show them that I'm doing all this for you. I love you and I have time for you. So parents, we need to come back to the drawing board and prioritize. Our families must be first. Yes,
Mm.
you have to
Mm.
work hard, but for heaven's sake, put time aside. What I normally
Mm.
tell parents is, in a week has 7 days. Have one day, one full day for your
Mm.
family. And then
Mm.
in between the week, have at least 2 days or evenings when you sit down with your kids and just discuss. How
Mm.
was your school? How was your day? What's happening? Blah, blah, blah. But when you ask that and you are not actually there, even when you're asking, you're on your phone, when you're asking, you're showing, you're giving out the vibe that I'm just asking for asking sake. These children are too intelligent. You hear that
Mm.
boy who was 4 years and was asking his
Mhm.
parents why he was beaten. They are too
Mm.
intelligent. You can't give them superficial attention. You have to be wholeheartedly there. So, parents, we need to come back to the drawing board and prioritize. And a friend of mine last week, 2 weeks ago, they told me something, and it really resounded in my spirit. I have known
Mm.
it all along, but this time round it hit me so hard. He said,
Mm.
people make time for what is important for them. We say our kids are important, then let's make
Mhm.
time for them. We
Mm.
say that we love them, we are doing everything for them, then let's make time for them. Absent parenthood will not surface. It will not surface.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Dr. Kathy, I want us to dwell into this issue now. Uh, these things have happened. There has been that disconnection between a parent and the children, and they get to grow, with the social media and with the influence outside there, and they become rebellious, and the parent cannot be able to tell them anything, and that reflects also to the people outside. You remember when we were growing up, we were not the children of our parents alone, but we were children for the entire community. you know
Community. Yeah,
I could be punished by my neighbor or wherever, and
exactly.
I have nothing, absolutely nothing to report about that. But now today, where is the point of returning in terms of there is that disconnection between the young people with the parents, and it has gone to an extent where that it is extreme. But these kids and the parents, and they need to come back to the point of realizing, we need to bring matters to the place where they ought to be. Where and how is that practical? How can it happen, especially when now these kids are empowered and they feel like they don't need the parent, and the parent wants to come back, and make things and mend things and have that restoration? What happens in such a scenario?
Okay, thank you very much. You see, we as parents, we have to accept we've gone wrong. We've
Hmm.
messed up, we've missed it. First step, we tell ourselves the truth. We've
Yeah.
messed up, we've missed it. Step
Mm.
number two, we humble ourselves and get to apologize to our own kids. Now, many people will definitely will be at uproar with that. But guess what? If you want to reconnect with these kids, remember now some of them are already adults.
Yeah.
They, as you say, they feel they don't need us, but you'll always need your parent. You'll always need that man, that woman who gave birth to you in
mm,
one way or
mm,
another. So
mm,
we need to also now go back to them and apologize. Accept that we've been wrong.
mm,
Accept that I wasn't there when you were growing up. I'm
mm,
very
mm,
sorry. I know I've
mm,
caused you a lot of pain, but I want us to reconnect. So please tell me, what can I do for us to reconnect? Now, let me
ah,
tell you, it's not going to be easy. Some of them will even reject you, but you
mm,
keep letting them know you are available, you are there for them, you are ready to start a new relationship, not the old one, not trying to reconnect to the old one, then a new relationship, and that you are there for them. I've had parents do that. Some took longer, others took not too long, because the children were very relieved to be able now to have security that their parents have their back. But some, it took longer. So what I'm saying is not an easy thing that will happen just automatically,
mm,
but we need
mm.
to realize that we need to do something radical in order to reconnect, if we're ever going to reconnect with our kids.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know, as you said, sometimes it may not be so easy, but
Mhm.
with the grace of God and wisdom and people like you that are giving the right counsel, I think it is possible, to have that restoration. Now, as we continue with the discussion, those who are joining together with us, thank you so much. Somebody says the topic is on fire. Thank you so much. We appreciate. Kindly share this broadcast with your friends. Today we are launching these. A new podcast on these Saturdays, and I do believe that as we will be continuing with topical issues, it's going to be a blessing to the society. Now, today we have a counselor, a therapist, a woman of God, a doctor, and she's really bringing it out as it ought to be. So, Dr. Kathy, let's talk about this. There is the lethargy where our young people are concerned, whereby they don't want to get tired, but because of the
Mm.
new era of social media and that empowerment we are talking about, of course they know a lot. There is a disconnection between their minds and their physical activities, I would say. And I don't know, how are you going to help us understand this disconnect between the mind and the physical? And this is where we also are having issues with lifestyle, diseases coming in because of this lifestyle that they are living. For example, somebody wakes up in the morning. If they're not going to school, they want to sleep all the day. Maybe they want to be on PC all the day. They want to be on phone all the day. They don't want to do physical activities. And of course, with this, it has a negative connotation. Lifestyle diseases, obesity, and stuff like this is coming in. How do we empower our young people who are, they don't want to get tired? They are just there. Their minds are active, as we say, but there is a disconnection between their minds and their physical bodies in terms of activities. What do you think about this as a therapist?
Okay, first and foremost, a person having purpose
Hmm.
is what will motivate them to even have the energy to do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Purpose is discovering what God created you to do, how
Hmm.
God created you to affect or impact your world. Many of these young people have no idea of what their purpose is. Some have gone to school, sure, but they don't yet discover, what am I supposed to do? Who am I supposed to affect? How am I supposed to make my world better? Now, what some of these things come about because of reading.
Mm,
One thing I have discovered is, when you read, you cannot become lazy mentally or physically. It will
mm,
motivate you to arise and do something. Now,
mm,
if these young people are going to have a connect between their bodies and their mind, they have to start realizing what is their purpose, number one, and two, they have to start reading, become readers, and they start reading the Word of God, because the Word of God is an antidote for everything. And
yeah.
number three, they need to start reading about those who have succeeded, because everybody has somebody they admired. What did they do to achieve what they have achieved? There's nobody who slept all day and became great tomorrow. Even those who win the lottery, The reason
Yep.
why they end up becoming as poorer than they were is because they had no purpose. They had no life goals. So if these young people will have purpose, they will turn to God and begin to be serious about discovering what God has for them. What is God saying in His Word? And number three, begin to read and read widely. If you have interest in such and such a thing, read about those who have made it, who have succeeded in it. Then that disconnect will begin to go away. But what I might say also is, what is your motivation in life? Because everybody has something that motivates them. And what motivates you is what will get you to wake up from that bed and begin to take steps. And also, I want to say goals. What are your goals in life? You can't be a dreamer and not a doer, because many of these people are dreamers. They can talk. I'm telling you, when you hear some of them talk, oh, they are
Yeah.
sharp, but
Yeah.
they are only dreamers and not doers. That's where the disconnect is. So if you want to achieve anything in life, if you want to become great like that person you admire, you have to have a goal. You have to have set targets for yourself, because life just doesn't happen. Life is made to happen. So we have to be doers and not just dreamers. So these young people need to
Absolutely.
go back and recollect themselves and say, is this all my life is all about? Am I really going to become what I want to become in life? What do they even want to become? You can find somebody's in
Absolutely.
Form 4 and they have no idea what they want. It's a tragedy. Uh, I have somebody
Mm.
whose child already knows what they want to become, and they are in grade 6. They know it. I want to become this. I want to go to such and such a university. And also,
Wow.
I want to believe also the background matters. Some of
Mm.
these people were not given the culture of reading culture. It's a lost culture. Reading culture helps a lot. My father was a very big in reading, and I'm
Mm.
also very big in reading. I can be reading 3, 4 books at a go of
Wow.
different topics to motivate and to stimulate my mind. So some of them, their minds are stimulated, but now they don't have that motivation, that passion to move and do what needs to be done, which is in their mind. So they have to get out of their mind and get onto the action.
Absolutely. That's the thing. And now, as we discuss, let's come to in terms of leadership. Leadership is not about age. It's not about I would say even gender or something like that. And we have seen, and of course, when we are talking about this, we are not talking about it politically, but just generally, we've seen the Gen Zs agitating for change in terms of leadership, and possibly because of that empowerment we are talking about through social media and everything that is happening in the world, that knowledge that they are having, they feel that they are more empowered in terms of what they want. But I want us to demystify these and or rather to dissect this as a therapist and as a counselor. The line between that empowerment that is on the head and the qualities of leadership, because they're talking about it's our time, because obviously we grew up, youths being told you are the future leaders and all that, and they are now coming to the terms of saying we don't want to be leaders of tomorrow, but we want to be leaders of today. But how do they translate what is in their minds, that wisdom and that they are feeling in terms of leadership? Does it equate, or rather, my question is it, when you have empowerment in your mind, does that equate into good leadership? Because that's where the difference is coming in, whereby you feel you're so much empowered in terms of what you think about, but when it comes to actualizing that leadership in the real sense, possibly is a different thing. Help us to understand this, Dr. Reed.
Okay, leadership is influence.
Yeah.
A good leader is one who has influence, and positive influence. Well, even negative influence is still influence, but we're talking
Mhm.
of the positive influence. Now, these young people, when they began, it was actually admirable how they did it. They were able
Yeah.
to lobby thousands of them to come. That showed leadership. But when we come to now the political leadership arena they are talking about,
mm,
are they mature enough to handle the stresses and the intricate,
mm,
you know,
mm,
of the leadership there? No.
mhm.
Why do I say so? The way they talked showed they are not mature enough. Because leadership, as I said, is influence, and you
Yeah.
are shown as your leadership is also demonstrated with what you say and how you say it, how you are able to move people from one point to another in a positive way,
Mm,
how you are able to cause change in a positive way by your own lifestyle.
mm,
When we look at some of these, their lifestyle is contrary to what they are claiming to have leadership. I can be a leader, I'm a leader
mm,
today. But when we
mm.
see their lifestyle, we see their lifestyle, we see their association. What have they achieved themselves? Yes, they are good leaders. Yes, they want to lead. But what have they achieved? What do they have to show on ground to prove to us that they are ready to lead us?
Yeah.
Because it's not just saying they want to lead, but it's showing us the proof that they are ready to really lead, their maturity, their sense of responsibility, their sense of leadership. What have they achieved, even in their young age? Because we know of young people who have achieved a lot, who can
Yeah.
become they have potential of leadership. So when we look at these young people who are saying they are ready for leadership, what do they have to show to prove that they are ready for leadership in their life
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
outside there? What do they have to prove? Or is just talking? They have been empowered up here, but there's nothing to show of it, because it's
Mm,
about deeds, it's about action. Leadership is not just speaking, it's not just delegating, it's also
mm,
you, an action person.
mm,
When we look
mm.
at some of these leaders, let me talk about Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah.
He was out there motivating people, being part of the movement, being part of what was happening. Nelson Mandela went to prison 27 years. He was ready for that. He was ready to take action. He was ready to cause people to move. And when he's causing people to move, he's part of them. He's doing this, he's doing that to effect change. So are these people ready to do that? Have they done it? Have they done it? As they're saying
Mm,
they are ready for leadership. What proof do they have that they are ready
mm,
for leadership apart from
mm,
their words?
mm,
Yeah.
mm.
So that's what I can say
Absolutely
about that.
beautiful, beautiful,
Yeah.
Dr. Arbi. As we are coming now, narrowing down to the end of the program, but I want us to talk about something here that is just coming into my mind. Um, as we all understand and we are aware that a lot of influence is on the social media, and for example, I want to use a good example here is like I would see somebody who is in the social media. We've not met, maybe I show some interest to them. Maybe we talk a lot, we'll talk a lot of there comes to a point whereby we form some bond and some feelings about this. But this person essentially, I haven't seen them, I haven't met them. Later to realize that what they say on social media is who is not who they are physically. The reason why I'm saying this is because we've had a lot of influence to these young people in terms of Twitter, Facebook, wherever, name it. But when it comes to the reality of it, into the real, where the rubber meets the road,
The road.
when these people show up, they don't have what they said they have. I want us to talk about the power of social media. Is it real? Is it the influence? Is it real? And does it really meet the merits of leadership where we are talking about this?
Okay. First thing I want to say is that in social media,
Mm,
90% of the time, people want to present their best side. And you see, because you are not there live to see their real life, they
yeah,
can present the best version of themselves.
absolutely.
You know, we have three selves. We have your real self, you have your ideal self, and real self, ideal self, and and public self. So many people present their ideal self and the public self, the public image the
mm,
image they want the public to see, or the
mm,
image they have in their mind, which they want themselves to be perceived. But
mm,
nobody, that only 10% present their real self. So
mm,
the media has fooled many, not
mm,
only the Gen Z, even older people. They have been
mm,
fooled to believe that what you see is what it is. And that is not true. So
mm,
people have got to be very careful, us
mm,
included. That is not everything that you see that is real. So before you invest your emotions, before you invest your feelings, before you invest yourself to
yeah,
to the person or to what you are seeing, do your due diligence of investigation, because there are ways to do that. Even if somebody is very far away, there are ways to get behind the scene, behind the social media, and
mm,
find out, is this person real? Because guess what? One singer said, you can fool some people sometime, but you can't fool all the people all the time. So there will
absolutely.
be people who know the real you. There will be people who know who, and also you can't continue fooling people forever. The truth will always come out. So
Mm,
let us not be so fast to accept what we see. Many marriages have been broken because we want to equate our marriages with what we are seeing. We want to
mm,
equate our relationship. Well, you don't do this, people are doing this in social media. Social media most times is fake. People will post even fake pictures just to appear good, just to appear real. So we need to understand that social media is not the parameter we should use in
yeah.
order to pave our way forward, even in our leadership.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful, Kathy. Well said there. As we come to the end of this podcast, and of course, as you give us your parting shots, I want to ask, this question: are we influenced or are we real? Yes. Are we in terms of the generation? Are they just being influenced? We have what do you call them? These social people. They are just there. They are called influencers. They kind of
Mhm.
hype masses, to believe something. But in reality, they may not be actually who they are, as you said. So are the generation, the young generation, being influenced, or are they real? As we conclude.
Okay. The truth of the matter is, many times influence works more than being real.
Mm-hmm,
Many times people are influenced, and young people mostly, they are easily moved by things that move them emotionally. So
mm-hmm,
things that move people emotionally will be more attractive than being real, because maybe your real self is not what you are proud of. So what I would first say is that be proud of who you are, and if you're not proud of who you are, then fix it. Work on it, work on your character, work on your
absolutely.
mannerism, work on your habits, work on your lifestyle, work on it so that you can become somebody you are proud to be. You are proud to present the real you. That's what I would say, because
Mm,
influence, many times you can be easily influenced in the wrong way, because what
mm,
is being presented is not real. But when you reach a place whereby you are proud of who you are, you'll present it to the world with no excuse, with no apologies. So that's my last word. Work on yourself. Be proud of who you are. And if you are not proud of who you are, work on yourself. Allow God to work on you. Allow
mm,
God to fix what is not right, and
mm.
allow yourself to be corrected, to be directed. Have mentors.
Oh yeah.
Have people who can talk to you, talk into your life. Have a spiritual leader, if not your pastor, somebody who you respect, who can be able to pray with you, influence you in the positive way, and help you to become the person who you will be proud to stand and say, "This is me."
Mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. Very well, rightfully said there by Dr. Kathy. Thank you so much, Dr. Kathy, for your
Thank
input
you.
on this topic. And I do believe that, I think you are the right person for this. And we should continue. I guess if you have time, we should connect again
Yeah.
next Saturday for yet another powerful program, if the Lord allows us to do this. And
Amen.
what
Sure.
a beautiful beginning of this podcast today. So
Thank
glad that
you.
Dr. Kathy, you add time and your input. I do believe for to those who are watching or listening to us now or even later, because this program is going to go, to other networks. I do believe that the input that we've had today from you and your expertise and your counsel, I hope that this is going to impact their lives. And more so, I think we should talk about, mentors. We should talk about
Yeah.
parents and
Mm.
the older generation, because we could be, complaining about the young people. But as you said, that gap between the parents, the mentors, and stuff like that, we need to bridge that gap. And I think we need to
Yeah.
discuss about this so that we can help as many people as possible, because there are parents actually who are crying and wondering, what did I do wrong with my children? Where can I have the resolve of bringing back this relationship? And I think we need to talk about that. Otherwise, thank you so much,
Yeah.
those who are working together with us. Dr. Kathy Chris, a counselor and a therapist, and is a leader, a pastor, a woman of God. And today, what a beautiful way to begin this podcast. And I'm so glad that I connected with her. And thank you also for connecting with us wherever you're watching or listening to
Thank you
us.
very much.
My name is Pastor Ben, your host, and we want to do this again. So stay tuned and, our social medias. And I hope that this is going to be a blessing. For now, shalom. The Lord bless you. It's the end day of August 2024, the year of the Lord. As you begin your tomorrow, the Lord bless you, because September is going to be great because God is
Amen.
in it. Bye bye for now.
Amen. Bye
Shalom.
bye.
Thank you, Pastor
Shalom.
Dr. Kathy. God bless you.
Thank thank you so much for having me. I appreciate.
Amen.